clash, a derby clash, Lions versus Bulls this today. Yeah. So in the spirit of that game, we're gonna do a little all-time best combined between the Lions and the Bulls.
The YXK derby, bro. The YXK derby.
Yeah, bro. So guys, if you enjoy these videos, please leave a like, please subscribe, and let's get stuck straight into it. Okay. What's up, Bjorn, brother? So, all-time Lions vs Bulls XV, brother.
All-time
I think
Lions
we just
Bulls,
start.
brother.
Yeah, we'll start. You can start to the front row. I'll see if I've got any different from you, and then
Okay.
I'll go to the locks, and we'll work down like
forwards,
that. So,
halfbacks,
Yeah.
centers, like just usually how we do it, guys. We'll just go through the team like that, and obviously, guys, with these fantasy squad builders, I know you guys have a lot of comments and a lot of changes. So whatever, guys, whatever changes you think to our side, if we missed anyone, please let us know in the comments down below. We'd really appreciate your help as well. So you want to start, brother?
yeah, let me start with the front row. So
Okay, yeah,
front
you
row
kick it
number
off.
one, I went with Guthrie Steenkamp.
Okay.
2, Gary Botha,
Okay.
and 3, CJ van der Linde, brother.
Okay, at least this is not going to be exactly like our last Rainbow 15, guys. Also, please go check
Yeah.
that one out. We had pretty much the same team. But we're starting off very similar again. Props, I've got the same as you. I've got Guthrie at number 1 and I've got CJ at 3. But I went with a bit of a different hooker. I went with a guy that actually played for both the Lions and the Bulls, an old man. I went with Uli Schmidt from the 90s. I think he was quite an exceptional rugby player during his time. And I think he probably offered a bit more than Gary did. Gary obviously was a very good player, played for the Bokke quite a few times, and he was quite a steadfast player in the Bulls team. But I think I went with Uli Schmidt in the hooker position rather.
Yeah, but I can't really like put my finger on Uli Schmidt. Like I don't think I've seen enough of it.
He was
But
a
for
lot
me,
like
Gary-
Akka. He was a lot like a Akka van der Merwe style of
Is it?
player. Yeah, he was a runner. He was good with the ball in hand. He could even chip a little. He was like an all-round type of player. So for me, I went with Uli Schmidt.
Yeah, bro. Think about Gary Botha. I think like if John Smith wasn't around in the time he was around, you know, he probably would have had like 50, 60 caps, bro. I don't even know how many he's got. He's probably got a lot.
Do you
from the
think
bench,
so, though,
bro.
bro? Because if you think about it, they were quite. I know you mentioned John Smith now, but not even John Smith. There was quite a few good hookers during that time. Even Bismarck du Plessis probably would have been playing ahead of him.
Okay, bro. I'll give you Uli Schmidt there. So
I
we've
think
got
Uli Schmidt's
Guthrie,
better. Yeah,
Uli Schmidt and CJ van der Linde.
CJ van der
Locks,
Linde.
I think locks pick themselves. bro.
Yeah, there's only
if
two
you
options
got
there.
Any different, you can let me know. But I
Nah.
think Bucky's and Victor.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go with those two as well. I think they picked themselves like you, so I don't think there's anyone really that's been better than them, especially that's played for the Lions and the Bulls. Lions, you can't really think of
Yeah.
anyone that's been playing during that time that would have kept them out of the side, and both of them exceptional Springboks, probably the best lock pairing of all time in world rugby.
To be fair, the third best South African lock around that time was a Lions lock, bro. Albert van der Berg. You know what I mean?
Fair enough, but he was more known for his time. I know you did play for the Lions, but he was more known for his time at the Sharks.
Yeah, fair enough. So Bucky's Victor, your loose forwards. I think
Bucky's
this will be a
Victor.
bit of a different one. Who have
Yeah.
you got at 6, 7, and 8, bro?
Okay, so I moved one guy to 6. I know you're probably going to go with Jaco Kriel. I've got a feeling you're going to go with Jaco
Yeah.
Kriel. But I went with Vickers van Heerden. I went with him. Also both playing for the Lions and the Bulls. 7, I went with Donnie Rousseau, Man Mountain. I mean, World Cup winner. He's also one of the best loose forwards we've ever produced in the country. And 8, I went with Dwayne Vermeulen. He's only had a short time at the Bulls, but I think he's probably been our best 8, arguably of all time.
Yeah, but I did go with Jaco Kriel. I think he was so important for probably the best Lions team ever.
Yeah, that's true.
You could probably say, and he was the captain and probably the best player, bro. So 6.
And he
6,
offers a different
I think-
thing. I think I'll go with you. Actually, no, I'll go with you at 6 with Jaco because
Yeah.
I think he also offers something different. He was a fetcher. He was a good runner with the
Yeah.
ball. And Vickers never really played at 6. So I'll go with you with Jaco on that one.
Yeah, I agree with you with Donnie Rousseau at 7. Obviously, a Springbok legend.
Who did you go with at 8?
8.
Yes, Peace.
8, I went to Spies. I went to Spies. Just the fact that Dwayne didn't play for the Bulls as long as what Spies did. You know what I mean?
And Spies probably had a bigger impact at the Bulls than Dwayne's had. Even though Dwayne's probably obviously been a better Springbok than PS Spies. But PS Spies, maybe during those, like 2009 to 2011, was arguably one of the best performing 8s we've ever had. I mean, his physicality and his speed alone was he was exceptional.
Yeah, and on his day, bro, just
Yeah.
deadly, bro.
No, I'll go with you.
Nine and-
I'll go with you with 6 and 8 as well. I think we should go with Yaku at 6, 7, Donny and 8 PSPs. I think so. That's good.
Okay, sweet. At 9, I think 9 will probably have the same one.
Yeah.
For Reed Brea.
Probably the best, arguably one of the best scrum halves like that's ever been produced. I mean, you could have gone with Faf. Faf's been exceptional
Yeah.
over the last couple of years, but I think Fourie, what he offers has just been, he offers a bit more than Faf does.
At 10, brother, who have you got there?
Okay, for 10, I didn't go with the best one. I went with, guys, it's a bit of a biased opinion, but I went with one of my favorite players of all time. I went with Andre Pretorius. I think flair-wise, he's not, like, we can all agree that he's not been the same caliber as like a Morne Steyn. So, but for me personally, I went with Andre. I think Andre Pretorius, what he offered during his time for the Lions was also, he was a very special player, probably ahead of his time. You can argue he was like the South African Carlos Spencer. He was just, I remember like that game against Australia when he did the drop off the right and the drop off the left. I think he still scored an interception try as well. So for me, it's Andre Pretorius. Who did you go for?
I went with Morne Steyn. I think
Steyn,
what's difficult about like a team like this, bro, is just that the Bulls probably did more than what the Lions
Way
did. Like,
more. Especially over the last 2 decades.
It's exactly. So it puts their players a bit like
a
step ahead, bro. So I went with Morne Steyn, but mainly because, bro, he's, let's say, the Lions tour, the Super Rugby that the Bulls won. Bro.
That's what I was gonna say. Do you think?
Yeah.
If we exclude what he did for the Springboks, because obviously he did a lot for the Bokke, and I know he was part of super winning rugby teams, but do you think he gave more for the Bulls compared to what Andre Pretorius did for the Lions?
When you put it like that, bro, in my mind, when you think of a Bulls team, you think of Derek Hoogaard.
Derek Hoogaard probably comes first to mind, because he was like, he started it off.
Yeah,
I mean, he kept Morne Steyn on the bench for the 2007 final and stuff. I know Morne Steyn was still quite young, and Derek was like the man at the moment. But I just feel like Andre Pretorius probably did offer a bit more. I mean, you could even gone with someone
Derek
like
Hoogaard,
you could have even gone with, like, I know a lot of people don't like him, but Alton Yankees is probably the best, like, performing Lions fly off of all time. Like, you look at his points tally. Also, like how you mentioned,
you know what, bro? You know what? Let's. I think Alton has to be here because if you think of his best rugby and his best performances, it's all for the Lions.
It was at provincial level.
The team, what he did with it, and with what he did with the Lions team in the time when they were number 1 in South Africa. I think number 10 has to be Alton Yankees. I
also think so.
I think Alton Yankees is number 10.
Actually, now that you mention it, now that we've spoken about it, I do think Alton probably offered more, and like you say, his best rugby came at provincial level. Like, he was exceptional for the Lions during those 3-4 years. So I don't see a problem with having Alton actually in the side ahead of both Morne Steyn, who was the better player out of all three. But just for what he did at provincial level, I think Alton Yankees gave more to the Lions than both of those did for their respective sides.
Exactly. Okay, so Alton at 10. 11 and 14. 11, I think, picks himself because he played for both. Brian Abena.
Brian Abena, the best, in my opinion, the best Springbok player of all time. So, best South African rugby player of all time. I mean, if you even look at what he did for the Bulls, before you go, Brian Abena, I mean, he won them the 2007 Super Rugby when he scored that try in the death. So, Brian Abena is definitely probably the first name that gets picked on this team.
Yeah, exactly. 14, bro.
Who did you go for first? No, you tell me first who you went for, because I've got a bit of an odd choice, I feel like. But you tell me who you went with 14.
Bro, I went with Undungani, bro.
A corner
Undungani. I think he was also like in that time when the Bulls were top notch. He was their main number 14.
Yeah.
So I went with him, bro. Obviously not the most flashy, but he did the job, bro. He did the job, you know.
I think you're probably gonna put me on this one again. I went with a guy that had all the talents in the world. Unfortunately, his career got curtailed a bit by injury. But I thought Ashwin Willemse, I mean, during those early stages when Jake picked him for those first teams and stuff, I know he got that injury early on in his career, but Ashwin Willemse was for me, as a rugby player, was an exceptional rugby player. I mean, if he didn't get that injury, who knows how far he could have gone. But I have to agree with you, just for what he did for the Bulls and everything, Akona Ndungani probably pips both those players.
Yeah, so Habana and Ndungani on the wings. In the centers, bro, I've got Henny Leroux, bro, obviously 95 World Cup winner. He is,
Yes, I believe he is.
I always, like, I think of those days going back to Ellis Park when we were so young. I always remember seeing him and having this, like, image of him being this amazing number 12.
Yeah, he was a star. He was a star.
Yeah. At 13, Jacques Fourie, easy.
Yeah. I mean, basically
Yeah.
producing South African centre of all time. So I also went with Jock
Yeah.
at 13. I went at 12. I went with Yapi Mulder. Another guy that played with,
Yeah.
like, I think majority of his career at the Lions. Another exceptional player. I think he also might have been part of the 95 World Cup winning side. But I think it's a toss-up. I really think it's a toss-up between him and Henny LaRue. I think both of them are exceptional, but I think you make a good point about how, like, the memories that you get from these players. And I think
Yeah.
I also myself remember going to Ellis Park as a young lad and seeing Henny LaRue play, and he was a star player. So I really don't mind going with a Henny LaRue and a Jock Fourie centre combination. Jock Fourie
Yeah.
obviously picks himself, and he was for about 10 years the best centre in world rugby, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Does Wynand Olivier not get a call? Little...
Wynand Olivier is on the list. He's definitely on the list for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, he was consistent. He was in the Springbok setup for a very long time. But I just think when you look
Yeah.
at talent-wise and what they all did, I don't think he can replace Jock Fourie, honestly. I think Jock was just on another
Yeah.
level compared to him. And I think Henny LaRue as well. Like, the problem here is you have to take generations into consider and what they did during their time.
Yeah.
It's sometimes hard to judge a guy that played in the 80s, 90s compared to a guy now, because just how much the game's evolved and changed. But I think during
Yeah.
his time, if he had the opportunity to play in this generation, he probably would still be able to fill in quite nicely. So I think Henny LaRue and Jock Fourie are an excellent centre combination.
Solid. 15. Who do you
15.
have there, bro?
It was between two options only for me, honestly. It was between Zane Kirshner, Conrad Jantjies, and I went with Conrad. I think he was one of those players. Not always the most flashy player as well, but he was so big. He was just such a big player. His defense was amazing.
Yeah.
He was also in the Springbok team for quite a while. Maybe not as long as Zane. And Zane probably did play in a better team, but it's always difficult to judge a player that compared to the Bulls, to the Lions. As you mentioned earlier, the Bulls just for such a long time were the dominant force in South African rugby. But I think Conrad Jantjies also moving to the Storm, as we saw what he did there. I think he was just a better all-around player, honestly. So for me, it's definitely Conrad Jantjies. And for yourself?
Yeah, bro, for sure. I agree, Conrad Jantjies, bro. I think his career would have been had a different scope on it if he didn't have the injuries that he had.
Yes,
bro.
true.
Over the years, just too many injuries that just threw him off, and then making comebacks and everything. But he was always in and around Springbok squads. When he was fit, he always played for the Lions. Started, and I remember that time. It was 15 was when Jock Fourie was still playing 15.
Yes.
And it was between them two, and then Jock Fourie moved to 13 and 15, and with, I think, Bobo was in that team.
Bobo was, that
And
was like the
team,
early Cats
bro.
team still, like 2003,
Exactly.
2004, yeah.
Exactly, bro. I loved that team, bro. They were so lucky to watch, bro.
It was exciting side that. It was a very exciting team. I mean, now that
Yeah,
you
so
actually
that's
mention
the
it,
team.
Gubani Bobo was also quite a good shot to have in the centre position, but once again, the same as Wynand Olivier, I just don't think he would have eclipsed the centres we mentioned earlier.
Exactly, Jock Fourie. So let's read out that team, bro. At
Go
1
for
we
it.
have Gutro Steenkamp, 2
Yep.
Uli Schmidt, 3 CJ van der Linde, 4 Bakkies Potter, 5 Victor Matfield, 6 Jaco Kriel, 7 Dani Rousseau, 8 PS Peace, 9 Fourie du Preez, 10 Elton Jantjies, 11 Brian Abena, 12 Henny LaRue, 13 Jock Fourie, 14 Akwana Undungani, and 15 Conrad Jantjies.
Excellent side, bro. I really have to say, I think that's a really, really good team. Especially considering
Yeah.
that the Lions haven't always had the best teams throughout the year. So for them to have quite a few names in that side, I think is a really testament of how good South African rugby is.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, guys, that's. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's our all-time Lions vs Bulls XV. If you guys did enjoy it, please leave a like, please subscribe, and until next time, cheers.
Cheers, guys.